Ontario is set to introduce some new legislation today, giving the mayors of Toronto and Ottawa expanded powers in what the province says is a bid to get housing built faster. Premier Doug Ford indicated in yesterday's throne speech the strong mayor system will help reduce timelines for new home development. But the system also been criticized by some Toronto city councillors who say it could also give the mayor's office too much power. The premier previously said 2/3 of a council would be able to overrule a mayor under this system. And here's more from Mayor John Tory about this morning.
This is not going to change the way that I do my job. My job here is to work with every member of City Council that wants to work with me and to continue to do that. But at the end of the day as well, though, I want to find as many ways as possible to get things done faster and to get more housing built faster, to make sure that the transit plan that we've agreed upon as governments actually gets built.
And for more on this, we welcome to CP24 Live at noon municipal lawyer John Mascarin, partner at Aird & Burles LLP. Thanks so much for making time.
Thanks for having me, Chanel.
So this system already exists in places like New York and San Francisco. From a legal perspective, what does a strong mayor system really mean for Toronto?
Sure, and most people are very confused by it. They're not really sure what it means. In Ontario and throughout all of Canada, what we have is the weak mayor system. That means the mayor is only one member of council and only has one vote. That means that the mayor has to be a consensus builder. In order to get the mayor's agenda done, the mayor has to work with the rest of council to ensure that everybody's on board. The strong mayor system, I think, is going to tilt the balance somewhat. And, we don't know what the details are yet.
So let's talk more about that balance. The premier saying yesterday this would allow mayors the ability, not the power, to make decisions. How do you interpret that?
Chanel, I don't know what to make of that. If you don't have the power, how can you possibly have the ability? They have to go hand in hand. To me, I read authority, power as enabling, as giving the ability. So I'm not sure what that means. And I checked the Ontario Legislative website this morning. I haven't seen the bill yet that would propose the amendments for the strong mayor system.
So councillors we're hearing, you mentioned this, will have some veto power in this situation. Is that enough to really prevent potentially autocratic leadership?
Well, it really depends on what kind of veto power is given. If it is a 2/3 of council, what's called a supermajority, that's pretty extensive, and that would make it very hard for the councils to veto. Now, there's some councils that would be unanimous, I think, in vetoing anything that their mayor may want to do, but not all councils. I'm not sure that that's a strong enough power. I would have thought a simple majority would have been enough. And then if you do have that, though, Chanel, what does that mean? You could work through this whole system. The mayor might say, I want this to go ahead, has some power, but then the veto comes in. So how does that build transit or affordable housing? Does that make it any more efficient?
So what about this idea of accountability? Could this system help keep politicians in check? I mean, we know exactly who made which decisions.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the accountability factors in all of this. And again, I'll say, and I've told you before, until you see the details, you don't really know how this is going to work out. But accountability to whom? All of a sudden, you've diluted the powers of the council members. So where's the accountability there? The only person who may be accountable would be the mayor then. And so I'm not really sure how that will work out.
Okay, we talked about some of the other cities that already have this model in place. Are there any lessons learned when we look to the way that this has been structured in those other municipalities?
Yeah, I think the one that everyone always brings up, you mentioned San Francisco and New York, Los Angeles has it. The one that's always brought up is Chicago. Chicago's always had very strong-willed mayors. Have they been good mayors? You could argue that. I always say it's not whether you give the mayor authority, it's whether you have a good mayor, ethically, responsibly, someone who will act respectfully of the electorate, but also what's in the public interest. And necessarily what the electorate wants doesn't necessarily make it in the public interest. So I say you should look at good mayor systems, not strong mayor systems.
Okay, a really fascinating conversation. We'll have to leave it there. We're still waiting for lots of these details. John, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate this.
Thank you very much, Chanel.